Hello everyone, I just thought I would do another video to sort of share some ideas in preparation for the PCC meeting next week. I think it's really important to acknowledge that we are trying to do something new. So I want everyone to bear in mind that this is a new system. This is not trying to shift or adapt our current system. At the last PCC meeting, we voted to change. So we've been working very hard over the summer to present something that is different. The status quo wasn't serving us, and therefore we have come to this afresh. So we are looking at the organisation and the governance of the church completely in a new way. I also think it's really important acknowledging that we've built this whole system, come up with all these ideas to support what we need rather than a focus on the people that we currently have. So there is an acknowledgement that we need to transition into it and all take time to think about what it is that we're called to and how we can encourage others to join us in our mission. I want to also address that first concern. The first concern over most of the things in most of the conversations I've had is about money. I need to reinforce and reaffirm that money is ring-fenced by parish and by purpose. So that money that is raised in one parish is used in that parish, and that money held in accounts for things like fabric repair and whatever must be used for that at that church. There is no question that money will be used elsewhere, and it also will be very clearly and transparently accounted for. That said, we are looking at one council, and therefore there will be one treasurer. We've talked a lot, and I've talked to the current treasurers about the challenges that faces, and we've come up with an idea of having the current treasurers all supporting that individual treasurer during the transition. Even simple things like changing mandates on banks will take time. So the idea is we're all supporting through the transition, but with the end view that we will have one treasurer who oversees the financial situation in all 5 parishes and supports the Benefice Council in that. So this is the framework of it, and I sort of want to talk through each bit in turn, but just to give you an idea that the Joint Benefice Council, which you can see if I highlight it here in this grey section up the top here, we can see that is what we're saying will be part of Benefice Council. Under that, we've got some other roles supporting in the mission there. So let's just look at these in parts. The core of the Benefice Council will come as no surprise that it is the senior ministry team, so the incumbent and those with ministerial responsibility who have the ex officio right to sit on the council. Alongside that is parish representation, which will include a church warden from each church. That church warden will hold that title of governance church warden. And we also, to ensure that not too much pressure is put on that one person, and therefore, we're not thinking that people can't miss a meeting and whatever, we'd have a second elected parish member. These people make up the Benefice Council. The focus is on governance and strategy and ministry. It's not looking at the day-to-day running, but more looking at the overall governance. The Benefice Council will still be covered by the church representation rules. I have the slightly outdated version here, 2022, but all of the church representation rules are available online. Anyone can read them. I would say if you have a problem with insomnia, that's definitely a way to go. But it does dictate that things like who is eligible to sit on a Benefice Council is still set by the Church of England. And in the same way, we will, as a Benefice Council, elect a treasurer and then confirm other roles. So it's not that this council has a complete carte blanche. it is still very heavily regulated by the Church of England. So back to ours, you can see where that SMT and parish representation sit, but they're not the only people who will attend Benefice Joint Council meetings. You'll see that we've got an administrator and invited guests. It's clear to say that they are non-voting members. They will attend when asked, but they don't have a decision-making powers. So the administrator, which is Simon, hopefully you've all met him, he'll act as secretary. He doesn't have a vote, but he can offer his advice. And we will also have the opportunity to invite people to come and speak and guide us and help with these things in a non-voting role. So if someone's got a particular skill set, interest or a passion, and we can invite them along to guide the Benefice Council in their work. And I think that's really important to acknowledge that we're not saying that this small group of people will have all the knowledge that they need. They will need to ask others. But one of the key aspects of this and this whole thing is having the transparency and the accountability of the Benefice Council. And that will go right across the Benefice and also across the diocese, so that everyone is aware of who's got what role and how that works. So if we see that, that makes it very clear what the Benefice Joint Council actually consists of. You'll see there's other positions as well. So that leaves us with this image. Now, people sort of say, well, there's a lot of people to recruit, but bearing in mind the numbers of people we have, we're going from requiring 10 in each parish to realistically to ensure that we've got at least 3 people in named roles, hopefully 6. But those people who are in the pink, they have easier roles with very clearly defined responsibilities. We've looked at how people get appointed. Now, for the Benefice Council and the Church Wardens, that is set. So there are people who, like myself, will sit on that council ex officio. We automatically, through our roles, sit on that. The other people will be elected from the membership in terms of the Church Wardens, and the electoral roll in terms of the second additional supporter in that. So that basically runs as the PCC does currently. The parish leadership team, a steering team, we looked at actually how that would be best done. I think just elections, bearing in mind how hard it is for people to get to engage with elections, becomes a little bit of a moot point. So what we thought was have a very short, very simple application form. I'm interested in doing this, and that proves that you're keen to do it. We will then go out to the parish membership, all the people who are members of the family and friends, and we will just ask them to indicate in a click form of whether they support your nomination. Hopefully we will get to a place where lots of people are putting themselves forward for this, and therefore they can tier their nomination and say, I think this person will be the best, and then that. That might be in the future. But then it comes back to the Benefice Council, who are the legal body, to make sure that that's a good fit before they then confirm that appointment. So we've got that aspect of the parish are supporting you, you've indicated that you're interested, and then the council can confirm the appointment. We are also acknowledging that there needs to be an aspect of transition. So this isn't all going to happen overnight. We're aiming at the Mission Day on the 8th of November as being a key date where people are starting to fill those roles. So the mission between PCC in a week's time and the Mission Day on the 8th of November is to discover, to discern, to learn how you can best serve. Now, is the best thing for you to do to take on one of these roles? Or is the best thing for each of you to actually say, I don't think I'll take one of these roles. I'll support in the way I normally do, in a different way. I just won't have a name title. I think another key factor in this is we need to help each other find roles that match their strengths. If you ask people, What strengths do you have, and where do you see that serving the church? People go, oh, no, I'm not very good at that. I'm not sure about that. And I think it's important that if you think, actually, you'd be really good at as a volunteer team lead or as a family and friends coordinator, that we tell each other and we actually share that with people. Another aspect is these are new roles. We will have role descriptions for every single role, very clearly spelling out what that role entails, what that responsibility is, who you're responsible for and who you're responsible to. But also we want to roll out some training. So bringing together people who are holding roles across the off the Benefice and actually sort of offering some training and some guidance and some support to say, these are things we can do to start with, these are things that work well. And then hopefully we can develop these roles into actually thriving churches. The system that we are presenting is as it currently stands. It doesn't mean it will stay that way forever. If you feel that something needs adjusting, the Benefice Council has the authority to amend the Constitution once it comes into being. So that means that over time, if you go, actually, we didn't like the way that this works, or we don't like the way that that works, the Benefice Council itself can amend things through their constitution, and the constitution that we've written does reflect that. I think the key thing, and if you take one thing from this little video, is what matters most is that the members of the family and friends group can get involved in as much or as little as they wish. And the leadership roles are only there to encourage, enable and support everyone in whatever way they choose to take part. And in this way, we can allow people to join in and support their churches and the mission of the church without having to commit to long-term, 3-year, being part of a PCC and having multiple roles. So I hope that you can see that we've thought a lot about this. We've come up with a plan we think is sustainable and is going to work. But think about all the things that has been presented in this video. Pray on it. God will guide us. We are doing this all to build his kingdom, and we shouldn't ever forget this. Next week, there will be an opportunity for me to present more detail and give you guidance on where you can find all the documents that have been prepared. I did think that it was probably not useful to share them all at this stage, but they will all be available for scrutiny and reading, and to ensure that everyone really genuinely understands. And if you've got questions or comments, if you could email Simon at admin@nibridges.church in preparation for next week, so that we're not just responding off the cuff, that we've all had a chance to really think about it and questions can be answered very efficiently. Really appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and I'll see you next week.